Okay, yeah. I am the Iambic Assassin, and yeah, John, you got that right. Thank you. The Iambic Assassin. My mate gave me that name. A dear friend of mine who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. He was only 47. Beautiful Dave used to call him, and he said, "Why don't you call yourself the Iambic Assassin?" To which I said, "What does Iambic mean? I've got no GCSEs in English or anything like that." And then he told me. So for those of you who don't know, Iambic means the rhythm of or the pentameter of a poem or music or something like that. So he thought that would be a good name. So that's what it is, the Iambic Assassin. And I luckily met Dr. John Cooper Clarke, has been mentioned, our previous poet, who was very good, by the way. I really enjoyed his stuff. So I thought I'd start with John Cooper Clarke. I will do my own. But I got to talk to John Cooper Clarke, who was very nice and gave me some good advice. And his wife looked at me as though she just wanted me to peel off out of the way. But I couldn't stop him talking. And he was really nice. I'd gone to see a friend of his that he wrote a poem about called Martin Newell, who's never quite made it. He's a very good musician and a very good poet. And so me and my wife went to Colchester to see Martin Newell. And there in the audience afterwards was John Cooper Clarke. So, and I had some photos with him, and that was really good. So I thought I'd start with a John Cooper Clarke poem. It's about pies. It's called You Always Get a Guy with a Pie. And I'll try and do my best. I'm not good at impersonations, but I'll try and do my best John Cooper Clarke impersonation for you. So it goes like this. A lonely girl named Anne couldn't get a man. Her mother said, "Darling, don't you cry, you'll knock them down like Skittles with some farinaceous fiddles. You'll always get a guy with a pie." That's more like it. Salads in the bin. I've never been to the gym, but are we there to watch those fuckers die? Mincemeat or steak tastes better than a cake. You'll always get a guy with a pie. Even when they're stale, they taste okay with ale. Just when those hunger pangs intensify. Mincemeat, no, I got that. Cold winter grub tastes better in a public house. You'll always get a guy with a pie. What are you going to do with that leftover stew and them chunks of meat you just can't identify? Ingredients of this sort taste better under short crust pastry. You'll always get a guy with I Spy with My Little Eye. You'll always get a guy with a pie. There we are, that's John Cooper Clarke. Thank you. So yes, not once but twice he told me the Iambic Assassin, that's a great name. It's a great name. I thought, if my mate was alive, I said, Dr. John Cooper Clarke, so the Iambic Assassin is a great name, so hopefully I can do it justice. This next one is called Pal. I live in Aberystwyth, and in Aberystwyth they tend to call you Pal. I've just been speaking to a plumbing friend of mine who wanted to do me a favour, because something went wrong and I wasn't there because I was coming here. Could he go and do a job? Had a nice chat with him, and he said, "Yeah, see you, pal." I thought, has he done that on purpose? I don't know. So I go to City Plumbing a lot. I call it City Pal in Aberystwyth, because they always call you Pal. And it's okay, it pees me off a little bit sometimes. You know my name by now, it's Mark. And now you phone them up sometimes. There's a nice young man called Taylor. And then he always calls me, he says, "Yeah, all right, mate," which is quite disappointing actually, because I'm used to the Pal. In Carno, or Carno, as I should say, where the great Lord Ashley Empire started at, where I was brought up, everyone who worked there called each other Shag. And so you get mate, buddy, geezer, bro, whatever. So anyway, I got over it. If you go onto a website that I've got, it says that I've nicked a Billy Bragg thing. Once they noticed him once when he was famous, cursing Margaret Thatcher and the Tories, no doubt, at a station somewhere in London. And someone noticed him and said, "Get over it and write a bloody song about it." So I try and get over things and write a song or a poem about it. So I got over this one. It's called Pal, and I always dedicate this to my friend Mark Everton, who when we correspond with each other on WhatsApp, he always calls me Pal. So I'm getting back with another Pal, big capital letters. "Hey pal, cheers pal, don't call me pal, pal. Pal's a dog food chum, chum is dog meat mate, mate's a Johnny's pal, prophylactic pal. Hey pal, what's prophylactic mean, mate? Prophylactic pal means my mate, my humdrum chum, my fair weather friend. Prophylactic means prevent. Prevent disease, die a dreadful disease diction, like the overuse of the word pal, pal. So what's your name, pal? Mine's Mark. Thank you. That's pal. Thank you very much. Thank you. As John was saying before, he got one of them. I love them one-line thing. Get to the dictionary to pee. Well, I when I wrote this poem and that one, I got to the dictionary to pee. So this is another one beginning with P. To be or not to be, P. I don't know much Shakespeare. I'll do a bit of a Spike Milligan. I'm a big Spike Milligan fan. And I don't know any Shakespeare, and I think it starts with, said Hamlet to Ophelia, I'll do a sketch of thee. What kind of pencil shall I use? To be or not to be? So yes, this is called, thank you. This is called Prospect Street. There'll be a lot of popping in this. And if you don't like alliteration, listen less. Prospect Street is in Aberystwyth. There's a few little streets like this in Aberystwyth, round by the castle area, not what's left of the castle. And people park on the left. In Prospect Street, they don't have to park on the pavement, but they always park on the left. And then if you've got a big, you can sometimes get down to the right of them, and you see wing mirrors missing and paint missing from the side of cars. And if you've got a big car, if you're lucky enough to be rich and you've got a wide car, you get up onto the pavement and you're right on there's terraced houses either side. And a friend of mine I drink with in the Ship and Castle in Aberystwyth lives on the bottom of the hill on the right hand side in Prospect Street. And he was telling me some stories over the years. He's seen bin men shifting cars, lifting cars and stuff, and even a piano once. So I thought, look, let's write a poem about this. Sometimes you see scaffolding up there, people park too close and it's just mayhem. So this is called Prospect Street. I purchased a property in Prospect Street down the bottom end, where never mind Brexit, traffic will still descend to the exit on the right hand side at the bottom of the hill in Prospect Street. I live on the opposite side of the parking parade on the Onward Downward Drive, that is Prospect Street. I'm a practical person, polite, poor but popular, but pleased I live in Prospect Street. I'm even happy out the back with pots and cats. Step out your back door and immediately greet my neighbour, a prospective person just like me who won't be beat up by the woes, the cones, the traffic cones and paint pots used for parking slots in Prospect Street. Parking is not permitted in Prospect Street on bin day. It has been known that bin men moan and groan, have lifted and thrown cars, cots, prams, plastic green containers, all used for preserved parking plots, even cars heaved up and dumped far out of sight so that the dentist dump truck can drive down the middle and not on the right hand side. Even postgraduates studying PhDs, professors, erudite plumbers, just like me, have to clear our cars, kids, cats and dogs on Tuesdays, bin day in Prospect Street. They say that once raving, raging refuse personnel were heard to shout, "Oh, fucking hell," as they grappled a piano. The air was blue, the language obtuse, as they slipped and fell and the old Joanna broke loose. On the top of the hill, on the right-hand side in Prospect Street. Wing mirrors inwardly folding, cats and dogs stealthily patrolling, under parking, mums manoeuvring pushchairs, kids on skateboards. It's completely barking mad, but I love living in Prospect Street. Step out your front door, you've done it many times before, but run the risk of being frisked by the immediate traffic. It's kind of kinky, yet manic. In that moment of heat, prospectively putting foot forth into the street. Paint peels from scratches from the offside of cars, from the irreverent drivers, the bizarreness of living down Prospect Street. They don't pay any penalties, they have no soul. How that one scraped by, but drove straight into that scaffold pole. "Arsehole!" comes a cry from high up there. That builder doesn't look best pleased, to be fair, as he hangs from the rails by the safe boots on his feet, paying the price for working on properties in Prospect Street. The previous pretty proprietor of my property, my abode in Prospect Street, so I'm told, lies peacefully deceased. For you see, my Prospect Street poem ends on a low key. For without looking left, she stepped out into the street and was run down by a piano. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You might ask yourself, she should have heard it coming, but I can only presume that the strings and the little hammers had all disappeared by the time it reached her. So my next one is about being ill. I was ill just after New Year for a couple of weeks, just like last year, about the same time. Everyone says, oh, you got COVID, I hate that word, like we all hate that word. And during the COVID, I had my views on it. I didn't believe in all these over-the-top lockdowns, but my views with my friends in my local, when you had to sit outside and people would put these silly blue masks on just to go to the toilet, then they'd come and pump air and get drunk. And I just thought, just rebel and put two fingers up to the bloody government. But I was in a minority, and you get called anti-vaxxer and all this shit. But they found out last year that I was very ill. I kept myself employed, I kept inside in the house, didn't bother anyone. But I'd had flu worse, I think, but I was pretty ill. But they found out in my local, and they started sending me texts and stuff. It was quite funny though, I got a bit fed up with it, so I thought I got plenty of time on my hands. I'll ping them a poem. So this is called Let Me Be Ill. I remember how it starts. I've got it there just in case. I'm feeling like a sunken ship, the barnacles have taken grip. This is more than just a minor blip. I don't feel like shite, I feel like shit. This bastard flu is flaming bit. I'll have to take a get well pill, so let me slowly get over it. Let me be ill. You keep on texting, I could curse you. I call you all the things under the sun, but I'm too terse. I'm front to back, or vice versa. No, I don't need a dyslexic nurse. A nurse will feed me mouth by nil. Please leave me in this state of inertia. Let me be ill. The phone permanently pings. You seem hell-bent on sending me stuff you've previously sent. Here we go. You seem hell-bent on sending me stuff you've previously sent. I'm pissed off with your night-long laments. I'm not just cross, I'm damned incensed. Why don't you bloody wait until these torrid tests have eschewed? Let me be ill. Now I've really come a cropper. I'm as limp and lame as my flaccid chopper. I'm proper, poorly proper. I'll have to see myself a doctor, but they won't see me. They're afraid that them I'll kill. I better take myself a beta blocker. Let me be ill. There's aching down in my old cojones. I can't even masturbate though I'm a constant loner. I can't even get a bloody boner. I'm a male, miserable, morbid moaner. Good fortune will come, I'm sure it will. But for now, until a goodwill donor, let me be ill. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll finish with one more. This is called, what's it called? It's called Get Back to Me, Please. Please feel free to go onto my website, the Iambic Assassin, and copy and paste it. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that sends text sometimes. I try not to do it too often, but we all do it these days. And then nobody gets back to you. And then on Messenger or WhatsApp, they got these little ticks, which I'm told by my younger members of the family, you can get rid of them. But you can see that they've seen it and they still don't get back to you. And you get all paranoid. So if you want to, if this happens to you, feel free to copy it and send it off. It's a gift from me. So this is called Get Back to Me, Please. Any Black Sabbath fans, I put a little verse with some Black Sabbath connotations, whatever you call it. What have I done to deserve you? Why are you in my phone? I'll start again. What have I done to deserve you? Why are you in my phone? I'll start again. Hang on a second. Sorry. My phone, there we go. Do I need to preserve you or leave you well alone? I'm feeling bluer than Stilton cheese. Do you even bloody remember me? Get back to me, please. I texted you last Tuesday, a message quite polite. I'm sure you must have seen it. Just text back. Fuck off, pal, on your bike. Perhaps you're too busy, far too busy. Perhaps you think, who is he? Perhaps you're as rude as can be. Get back to me, please. I sent you a WhatsApp self-penned poem. It went with a positive tick of grey. I'm sure it got through the interweb ether because another grey tick arrived just the same. Then one, then two blue ticks. Are you simply ignoring this, or are these ticky ticks a trick? Get back to me, please. I've got a heart. I'm not Iron Man. To be fair, a bit annoyed. I'm now Aussie biting bats' heads off. I'm getting pretty paranoid. Twitter, bloody Twitter. Arse, look, now I'm bitter. I'll have to follow you on shitter. Get back to me, please. I only asked you if you wanted to join me at this gig. It's not as if I'm Clarkson, it's me. I'm not the Stig. I'm not in drag, not in disguise. Cripes, if I was James May, would you bloody reply? Au revoir, au wiedersehen, Hoyle, tata, goodbye. Thank you very much. Thank you, Luke. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.